Hello there everyone, and welcome back to Shogun 2 with the Fall of the Samurai DLC with an extended mod, which allows me, of course, to play as Great Britain. Now, we've moved on to autumn at this point, and I've been able to take a few cities. So I've been taking Saga off camera, and I've also cleared out this area right here. Most of it was outer assaults, and yeah, we just have to this faction right here will be easily destroyed. I mean, this is an outer assault and then they're done for. We'll see what we'll do with this one, if I'll go ahead and attack them, or if I go ahead and just sort of somehow vassalize them or something. I'm not entirely sure just yet, but what we're going to be focusing on is ending the Sacho alliance, and we're going to fight them, and hopefully we're going to be able to attack and take Kagoshima. So that's what we're going to focus in on this campaign, or for this video. I'm building up the navy because my plan is not to maybe go much further up north by the land route. I imagine that what I will be doing is land forces with my navy. So right here, I was earlier laying siege to Iwami port, but my army had lost so many men and I wasn't getting any reinforcements, and the enemy brought up reinforcements, and so I was forced to flee back, and I fled back to the point where I actually lost this one, and you can even see that I've lost a cannoneer. But he is regrouping, the General Helton is regrouping, and hopefully he'll be able to strike, take this back, and what we're aiming for is at least crushing the Imawami clan. So that's what we're looking at here, but this is right now kind of a side show. The main thing is going to be going down here, and what we're going to start off with is the faction leader is going to go ahead and attack their great army right here. Most likely this is part of the last resistance this clan will put up against us, but as you can see, they've got pretty good troops. Or at least they've got a hell of a lot of lances. It's going to be interesting to see how we will fare against those. But other than that, let's go straight into battle. And here we are on the field of battle. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the high ground with my cannons. And we're going to station the cavalry over on this side, trying to protect them from the enemy. Gonna have the general follow up. What I'm going to do is I'm already right here in the start, I'm actually gonna break up these guys. I wasn't expecting the enemy to focus cavalry on this side where I was gonna put my cannons, so we're gonna have to send quite a bit of extra force to deal with that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna put you guys in a group, and we're gonna advance the main line up towards the forest right there. Did I not put... Oh, I didn't put the third one in. There we go. Unnecessary to actually have the group right now in that kind of formation. What they're gonna do is they're gonna keep sort of an extra line here in the back on the side there. Oh shit, the enemy cavalry has already met up with us. We're gonna get the general. Yes, one other thing that happened, which I haven't said, is that we increased. I've been talking a bit about it. I wonder why the generals didn't have revolvers, and that was because of the fact that the clan development level wasn't high enough just yet. And so it just turned around, and so now the development level is high enough for us to actually have revolvers at this point. And it looks like our lances are destroying the enemy lances, which is very nice. Can these guys get their artillery ready. The general is going to go down and he's going to support our troops down in the forest. These guys are actually pushing quite a bit of fire upon us, so I'm going to strengthen this side with 2 units. And it looks like we've got enemy lancers coming in. So the general is going to go ahead and inspire. And he's going to sit in the back, pushing... Oh, shit. This side looks like it's about to collapse. Luckily we have 3 units in support and I can move up here. And we've got the general in the forest. He's able to help out here. Shoot down the lancers. Sounds like the right flank, however, is not doing very well. There's a mass amount of enemy and they seem like they've broken through on the right side, and the cavalry unit that went through here has sent 1 unit away and more or less slaughtered it. And the square is still holding though, and the line, the secondary line, is coming into play, and hopefully they'll be able to stop the enemy from advancing any further. Looks like the enemy have attacked my artillery up here. I'm gonna tell the cannons to unlimber as soon as I can. We're gonna get the cavalry to come around this unit. Will come around over there. And if you can actually get into a good position so I can deploy you, that would be nice. Right now I can't actually support the square because it's, if you look at the terrain here, they just can possibly a little bit see maybe a flag or 2. Oh crap, they broke the square. Or the unit itself broke the square. This did not actually go that well. I have been getting some complaints saying that it looks as though the campaign is going a bit too easy, and I guess I took that to heart as well. And what we can see is that I was a bit overconfident, and I stretched my army out in a way that seems to have caused me to lose a big part of my army. And in this part of, or sort of in this region of Japan, we don't really have a good source of resupply for our troops. See, is the square holding? Yeah, the square is holding right now, which seems to be, it seems to be doing quite fine. We'll get them to draw into line, and okay, so the cavalry is actually moving away. Get yourself up on top of the hill and you'll be able to crush the enemy, and then I want the cavalry to come up behind, and I think we can do this. The general needs to get over here. Hopefully a lot of our units just ran from the field rather than actually being completely destroyed. I forgot one other thing, that was to toggle guard mode, which might have been why we have such heavy losses on our side. Keep up the fire, guys. We can do this. And here comes the cavalry. Pretty good charge here in the back. The enemy is surrounded, and most likely we'll be able to destroy them. One thing that I have talked about it before, but it hasn't really shown that clearly. But since it's modded in a way, and I think, well, not modded in a way, I added on a few extra units to give more variety to sort of the enemy armies. The thing was that there's a difference in between the accuracy in between these mods, and so the enemy, for the most part, as I recall, actually has more accuracy than my troops, and they also have more men in most of the units. I think, yeah, the standard for my units it's 200, while the enemy is 300 plus. They have extra accuracy, so when the AI is not stupid enough to just send their men forwards onto me, when they're actually stopping and firing at me, that is when we see very heavy casualties on my side. We did manage to win the battle, but looking at the men I have left, it wasn't that great of a battle. Anyways, let's go on back to the campaign map and see if we can push our advantage after this. Given the fact that we lost so many men, it doesn't look like it, but since I've secured the other sort of peninsula that's going out there, we'll look at the map and we'll go from there. So looking at this right now, most of the units survived. We had one unit there getting destroyed, unfortunately, and we can see that a lot of units have very few men left. We lost almost more or less 2/3 of the army, leaving only 1/3 left of it intact. So that's pretty heavy casualties on our side. We did, however, won the battle, but as you can see by the character himself, he is a bit tired, so we're gonna have to fall back. So this episode is not gonna be as decisive as I thought it would be. Replenishment will take 6 turns. We have, however, extra units that we can send out from these places once they get ready. However, as we've gone into autumn, soon winter will follow, and once we have winter, forward momentum is gonna be stopped on all sides. So we'll see how far we go. I'm gonna go ahead and start ending some turns, and then we'll be back once we're able to take on the enemy once more with a battle or a siege, or maybe even naval battle, although I know most people don't actually enjoy them as much as the land battles. So I just said about how I am aware of the fact that you don't really like naval battles, and then I go ahead and show you a naval battle, but I think this one will be rather interesting because I have a single ship against quite a bit of a fleet on the enemy side. I am, however, banking on the fact that I have superior technology with explosive shots and so forth to carry the day for me. So right now we can see my ship here, and it's bombarding the enemy. Out there we've already set one of the smaller gunboats on fire, and we're continuing to smash the smaller gunboats as the large ship that we first tangled with has moved away, but is turning around to come back to the aid of its little fleet. The gunboats are sort of all just tangling with each other here, possibly due to masts and stuff falling, and sort of ropes tangling on both ships or the gunboats here. This one's on fire, this one's on fire, and now a third one is on fire. That one's starting to back up a bit, so it's not going too well for the enemy at this point. However, if you take a look at my ship, we've got a pretty massive hole right here, and this thing is, I would say, no longer usable, whatever they kept there. And a quick look on this side, we can see there's quite a few more dents in the ship, and also we've lost, not entirely sure what this is called, but we've lost it anyways. But comparing to the enemy fleet, which is more or less entirely on fire at this point, I wouldn't say it's that bad. We're going to turn in a bit to see if we can get a little bit closer to the enemy. And see maybe if I can take control and fire off a few salvos of my own towards the enemy. I think I should have probably aimed there rather than that one, because I don't think I actually had the range to hit that. Let's go ahead and see if I can bombard these bastards. Boom! That's concentrated fire, and we can see that that ship is now kind of routing even. I'm wondering, maybe I should go ahead and increase engine power. But there's a problem, of course, with that possibly leading to the ship engine going on fire. So we set that ship on fire, that one's retreating, and just another volley on that one, and I think those 3 ships are done for. Fire! Give them a broadside. Ooh, that seemed to have landed. That seemed to have gone right the spot. Immediately is set ablaze. And so far we haven't had one exploding yet, which I'm kind of disappointed in. I would like to see something going up in flames. Might be time to start focusing in on the larger ship. Gonna aim towards the center, get those engines. Boom! Nice hit. We still have this one operational, so maybe we'll take him out by putting one shot into him as well. There we go. And that one did not work out too well. No, increase the map. That's not what I was going to do. Oh, these guys are coming back once they've gotten this close. He's going to be able to fire pretty close from this distance, and you can see the rest of the navy over here is on fire. I don't think this one's moving really slow, so maybe there's something wrong with him as well. I'm hoping some of these will explode. At least one would be nice. You know what? We're gonna cut across. We're gonna go in between. And so this side will be able to fire on these 2, while this side of the ship will be able to fire upon the enemy. So far, I'm actually only lost... I've only lost about, what, 25... Oh, there we had one! Catastrophic explosion. But I missed it because I was focusing on other things. So should be able to fire off good volley on that one. Let's see. Oh, there we go. I think this is victory now because, yep, they're abandoning ship. It's completely on fire. There goes the masts. Quickly, both of the front masts fell apart. And is the third one gonna fall soon as well? Entire ship is on fire. And then we're looking at the small ship that is left. And now he's on fire as well. And they're abandoning this ship as well. Victory is ours. One single ship of the Royal Navy sunk this entire task force by the enemy. The Sacho Alliance is truly done for. Or at least on the sea, the high seas. I am now back from the end turn, and the only thing that really happened was that naval battle or anything of consequence. We can see he got quite a bit of chevrons after that battle, and he'll be able to help us by bombarding Kokushima once we're ready to take it. So I've sent extra troops, so the faction leader is actually ready to continue his advance and attack Kokushima. Up in the north, we are laying siege to the final castle of the enemy. However, it seems as though it wasn't such a pushover as I thought. The strength is not truly in my favor. So what I'll do is I'll actually wait until this one comes in so he can aid as well. This force hasn't really been tested that much in combat. Oh yes, we have a battle right here against quite a few navies. a lot of these navies we aren't actually at war with. So I'm not entirely sure why everyone is gathering outside my port like this. But we'll deal with them sooner or later. What we, however, have is the enemy once again advancing over here. I'm just gonna take a look here because we had something rather interesting happen. So this drill sergeant was at first recruited by me, sent up here. He was enchanted by one of their geishas, and so he turned and switched side to their side. Then he was stationed here in this town, and now I've sent one of my spies, one of my geishas, and now she has turned him once more. So, I don't know. Whatever lady says to him, apparently it just follows them around. But with that said, we have this battle ahead of us. So we're gonna march up into the mountains and get rid of this force and take back that artillery piece. And I think that will be the end of the episode, and then for the next one we'll see what sort of outcome I will have. Most likely we'll be moving into winter, and so a lot will not change in terms of the territory we hold and stuff like that. But without further ado, let's go ahead and have this battle against Ishio Kagemasa. And so here we are on the field of battle. We can see my army marching forward as cannons strike, or cannonballs strike through my lines. We've got my artillery piece up here. We've got the enemies out there and the army in between here. Got a very nice hill that I'm hoping to take advantage of. One thing that we're gonna look out for is the enemy's cavalry. However, the enemy, as you can see, is forming quite a tight formation. Oh, they've got some Nodachi samurai. Lots of traditional troops in among here. Looks like what I think is marine troops. Landing force. So let's go ahead and see. First off, I'm actually going to split up this once more. And we're going to take this line. And I'm actually going to move that further like that. And I want them to run to that position. Then these three are going to come from over there and to about there. And they also need to hold ground. And we're going to get three more. Come around something like that. And then these guys are going to be reserve, hiding sort of in the tree line with this single one moving really fast over there together with this one over there. Let's see, the general come in next to the artillery, and yes, just keep blasting the enemy with cannon shot, and then we'll be ready here for once he arrives. So kind of a sort of a V shape, like the letter, and they're sort of marching straight in towards it. So they're gonna contact, or these guys are gonna open fire on them first. They're probably gonna turn, and as they do, I'll be able to move these guys up, and we'll trap them in a crossfire and destroy them. That's my plan. So we have opened fire now. And since the enemy only has traditional troops, more or less, they're gonna have to march straight at us. And they're gonna have to march straight into this crossfire. So what it looks like is these three units are not able to take part in the crossfire. Means they need to move up and sort of now we're even gonna encircle the enemy. What I'm gonna do here is I'm actually gonna tell these guys to hold in a square. Sir, I feel you. And by that they're gonna help out the troops right now that is gonna get attacked. I'm gonna get the general to close in, and we're gonna get this one, actually gonna get both of these to move forwards and to close the gap here a bit. The enemy cavalry has been able to punch through the lines, but I don't think they're going to be able to hold for that much longer. I'm going to move the general inside the square, and oh, they punched through and went for the unit in behind there. The enemy does not have the same success they have in the last battle. Ooh, look at that. The crossfire here is absolutely obliterating this cavalry unit. They still had the capacity though to actually reach the enemy unit. But once they did, they were done for. And it looks like the enemy army now, they've had enough. We only have some of the more modern units still standing and fighting here. The landing force units are holding their positions. We still have some fighting. No, now everything breaks apart. The entire enemy force has broken apart, and we're just gonna let our guys shoot them down one by one. So very good strategy being able to surround the enemy like this. The fact that they carry so many traditional troops really makes them so much more vulnerable. Maybe it would have been better if I'd played as, say, France or the Americans, because then we would have ended up with the shogunate troops and facing them first. So we would have had a lot of these sort of traditional troops. We would have met them in the beginning, a lot of those. But then as we progressed, we would have come to the more modern factions as the Satchel Alliance, which I'm about to crush pretty darn soon. But here we have it. Victory over the enemy. I'll be able to push on, take the castle, and we can re-establish that border. I've got more troops on the way being recruited in the capital. We'll be able to push those in, so we get that reinforcement. We can push the army all the way up to the river, holding that bridge, making sure that the enemy will not be able to cross. And once I get enough reinforcement, we'll push across, maybe get the navy to come in from the side, bombard the shit out of the enemy castle, and we'll have victory in that area as well. So right now we've got all three fronts are more or less secure at this point. So hopefully by sometime next year, within sort of the time period of the game here, going through the rest of autumn and into winter, and then next year we might even be able to see us starting to prepare, at least getting the armies ready and lined up to send them up to the points which I need to take. Because right now, if we look at what I need like 10 more provinces and the two capitals, so Edo and Kyoto. And when I hold that, I have 1. So there we have it. I've explained what's going on. Right. Hopefully you guys enjoy this, and hopefully I'll see you guys for the next one. Bye.
Victory is assured, sir!